Yeah, so I guess I'm just gonna start explaining this now. I'll be racing Luke's, this ghost right here. This is the 296 he got. It's his BKS. So, firstly, I just want to explain how getting airtime works right here. So you can basically get airtime almost everywhere on this hill, but you need to approach it in a certain way, like right at the end. So if you start drifting or if you enter the sandhop with an angle, let's just say parallel or like that, you won't get any airtime. So you need to approach it like that, like you need to be perpendicular to the turn or almost be a bit more to the right of it. And that's like that's absolutely essential because otherwise you won't get any airtime. And right at the end, if you're like when you're about to get or when you're about to hit the sand, you just do the TF input and that will get you the airtime. So that I think is one of the most important things about this trick. And everything else before it is just a setup thing. So what I do here at the beginning with these wheelies, I'm just setting myself up to be quite a bit to the right, as you saw. I'm just using Luke's Ghost as a comparison. And I want to be quite far to the right because, like that, I'll be able to start a drift on this corner at a certain part, and that drift will start quite wide, which is what you need. Because if you start this turn right here quite wide and drift to the right, then you can do, yeah, then you have enough time to do the TF input. So I'll just show another wrong example. If you start it like a normal, like if you just go really tight here, uh, like normal, basically you won't then have enough time to turn to the right. So okay, that was a really bad example, but I entered the sand up kind of like that. So I guess if you wanna try to just learn how to get airtime on this hill, you shouldn't even focus on doing the slip drift. You just should try to get airtime. Like basically just go really wide on this turn and then turn to right and do the TF input, and you will actually be surprised because it's really easy to get airtime on like right at the sand top. So once you're comfortable with that, I'll say one more thing. The wider you go on the first turn, the further to the right you can enter the sand top. So let's just say I start the turn. Oh boy, yeah, the pillar's in the way now. Let's just say I wasn't going that wide right there, and that's why I had to enter it quite far. Well, that wasn't quite far to the left. And hi, Luke. So basically, um, once you start this drift, like I have a couple of visual cues. I don't really look at them, but I realized you can use them to get a really nice, or to know what, to know you're going like wide enough. You should be looking at this gray line or sand line, you know what I mean. And when you start the drift, you're gonna, like your right side of the bike is almost gonna touch that. And when you go a bit further up here, your left side is also almost gonna touch this line right here. And that's usually the alignment I have for the setup. Because if you go any tighter than that, you can still get the sand hop, but it won't be as reliable. So you can use that if you want as an visual cue, but I personally don't really use it. You can still go even wider, but yeah, then it just starts to get pretty ridiculous because with the alignment I just showed you, you can go really tight already. That was quite wide. So, guess I'm gonna explain what an optimal sandhop looks like or what an optimal sandhop is. So basically you wanna go wide enough here so you can start to drift early enough, and then you can go into the sand up quite far to the right because you're doing to turn very right. And then you want to land as close to the pyramid as possible because that also, like the normal sand hop, saves quite a lot of time. Because I'll let you show an example. So although those wheelies to the right, because that will send me quite far to the left at this first drift. Yeah, that's the first bad one. That was really wide, and it started the right drift really late there. Because I just shown up a wrong example. So let's just say you were doing the first turn too tight. Oh, that wasn't bad, but you can still get it, but you'll land quite a far away from the pyramid, and that's why it'll be slower. It'll still be faster than a normal send up, but I guess as a general rule, you should really take the first turn a bit wider than you think, because at the end you can enter the sand up further to the right and land closer to the pyramid, which will save more time compared to just doing the first turn a bit tighter and saving maybe 20 milliseconds. Because you'll be losing those 20 milliseconds because you won't be able to enter the sand up as far to the right as I just did right there. And that's really what saves a lot of time. And I think I tried to compare this today, but I think I start the first drift basically at the same time like Luke does or when anyone does, so I don't think there's a big difference there. I'm just aiming quite far to the right, and I want to be really far to the right here at the start, so I don't go too tight on the first corner. And honestly, that's like the entire secret. And I personally think this alignment I do also works quite well because you don't get a lot of bounces at the first turn, so the slip drift is also kind of consistent. Well, there it wasn't, but yeah, I'm just an inconsistent player in general. So I'll try to show it off right now. Let's see, that I went too tight right there, so it still worked. Another thing I should mention is if you go too tight on the first corner, you'll usually get less air at the sand top. But you obviously want to minimize the air time, but not like too low. You just want to get enough air like there. Because if you get too little, you'll still end up landing quite far to the left. But you can get quite a lot of air time if you do it even wider than I usually do. Yeah, that way. Oh, wait, almost landed at the pyramid. Like that was a really good example. I started the right input quite late, or quite early, I should say, because I was too far to the right. And another thing I should mention, I don't think I do a full right input here. And I'm holding, I think when I do the slip drift, I'm holding actually to the left because I can't do a hard right input instantly. So I think right around, oh, that was quite early. Started drifting right there quite early. And I guess if you get too much airtime at the sand top, I think that's because you did the TF input too late. I'm not quite sure about it, but I tend to do it quite early, and that gives me enough airtime for the sand top. So just show some examples and try to get it. And I can't get the startup boost. So yeah, if you want to get comfortable with this, just do it without the slip drift because the slip drift can be kind of dumb, especially if you get bounces on the first turn. Yeah, that can also happen with my alignment. Unfortunately, you can get like a really fast slip drift at the beginning and you'll get shot way too wide. Can't really use Ghost, unfortunately. I'm really inconsistent when racing them, so sorry about that. Might have to turn off the Ghost because I just used this Ghost to show where I was aiming at the start. Yeah, let me get rid of it. But yeah, there's really not much more to it than just go kind of quite wide at the first turn. And the wider you go, the earlier you can start drifting to the right again, because, as I said, you need to be perpendicular to the sand top to get the airtime. And you'll actually be surprised because you can get air basically everywhere on that hill, even though it doesn't look like it. And when you land, you can actually release the MT instantly, but that will make the alignment afterwards quite unreliable. So I would advise you just hold the mini turbo for like maybe zero point 0.1 or zero point 0.2 per second. You can do it, and then it'll save probably like 30 milliseconds more, but I don't really get it that often. But yeah, I didn't do the slip drift there because of the bounces, but yes, as you can see, you can get huge amounts of air once you know how to do it, and then it's just a matter of practicing it. If I think probably the most important thing of this is actually doing the first jump correctly because it sets you up like for the rest of the sand hop. But once you get that, it should be relatively easily. So there I started the right drift too early and I was also going a tiny bit too tight. And it was almost parallel to the turn. And that was really bad, but I could still get it. And yeah, I really don't know what else to explain about this because yeah, it might look complex, but it really isn't. Yeah, and yeah, that was way too tight. As you can see, if you're going that tight, you don't really have time to do a hard drift to the right because you'll be going way too tight. That one was decent. And I think I'll also explain the wheelie strat at the end of the cave real quick because if somebody wants to try that, they can. I don't really do it because I can't do the last turn with it. Like this wheelie strat itself isn't actually that difficult. But yeah, I don't think it saves as much as I used to think. So what you do for the wheelie strat is basically you just aim for the bottom left corner of the boost panel and you hop onto that with your front wheel. Like you do a left wheelie hop, you do a left hop and wheelie to the left. And the wheelie is absolutely crucial. If you just hop, you tend to hop way too early, and I'll show you what happens if you do that. Like you'll either get that or you'll get a huge amount of airtime. So if somebody wants to try it, you just hop onto the bottom left corner with your front wheel, like a wheelie hop to the left, and then you just time the other hop correctly. So most of the time I just hit the wall over there because I'm bad and I haven't done this a lot. But as I said, the last turn just gets really dumb with it. Yeah, that would have worked, but I didn't get the wheelie because I'm bad. But you can't really go for like a low trick right there, like you are able to go to the, or like you are online. If you just don't drink off the ramp because you land way too close to the ramp. So that's unfortunately the problem with this. But you can also get a huge amount of air and get like an ultra low trick. I've done that once, but it's really inconsistent. And I don't know why it happens. Yeah, right there I was going way too tight and didn't have enough time to drift to the right. Yeah, that one was pretty decent even though I missed the slip drift. So yeah, basically what I'm trying to do every time is just get enough airtime to get it and land as close to the pyramid as possible. Like you can, like I'm just trying to save as much time as possible with it, but there you can actually, once you like start practicing it, you can go a bit wider than I'm doing right now and it will be even easier. But that's basically it with this sandhop, or well, not a sandhop anymore, I guess. Like there, I didn't do TF input probably. properly. Sorry. So that's basically everything I can explain about this because it's everything I know about this trick. Just do the first turn kind of wide, do the slip drift, and then start drifting to the right. If you're going wide on the first turn, you can start the right input, the hard right input earlier because you'll be able to get airtime further to right at the hill. And yeah, and you went too tight there. But that's basically it. Just go wide, do a hard right drift, and do TF input. Gonna try to get a few more comparisons to the Ghost, I guess. But yeah, I'll probably be ending the stream shortly. Just gonna do 2 or 3 more comparisons with this. And I will probably not get any because I'm a really inconsistent player. Yeah, I bounced a lot there. That can happen, unfortunately. It would have worked, but had to drift to the right quite late there. And I did the first turn incorrectly right there. Well, it didn't really take me long at all because for me it's a really intuitive strategy. I didn't really have to practice it to get consistent at it. I just know what to do. Like that there I went too tight and that's why I couldn't get it. Because I can't do the first turn right now. It's for me it's just a pretty simple strategy. Even though I'm not getting it right now. Can't even get that. Like as you can see, getting airtime there. It's perfectly consistent. Like once you understand that, then you have basically figured this trick out. Yeah, that one will work. Oh, that actually didn't, because I'm trying to cut off as much sand as possible. Like I could have entered the sand a bit further to the left and it would definitely have worked. And I can get start boosts. Yes, nice. Like, yeah. But you should, if you want to do this, you should definitely go for the slip drift, like in time trials, because without the slip drift, it won't really save any time. It will probably be slower. And the first turn didn't work right there. That's where you also need a consistent first turn setup, because if you don't, then the trick just won't work. And I did it incorrectly there again, and I can get slip drift. Wow. Just love racing ghosts. Yeah, that one will work. Yep. Got way too much airtime, but whatever. It was a pretty slow one, but as you saw, it was still quite a bit faster. Probably like 0.30 milliseconds compared to the BKS. And that was a pretty bad one. And I did the first thing incorrectly again. The ghost is just throwing me off for whatever reason. Got a slip lift there, and yeah. Sometimes you can actually, as you saw right there, you can actually enter it and not drift that far to the right, but that's pretty inconsistent. You shouldn't really do that. Can't do the first turn right now for whatever reason, man. Just want to get one more decent comparison with the ghost, and then I guess I'm gonna play it for 5 more minutes. Oh, that one will work, but yeah, it'll be really slow. Yeah, that wasn't even faster. Yeah, that would have been quite a lot faster had I gotten the wheelie, but I wheelie just can be quite inconsistent. But as you saw, I actually was drifting quite a bit tighter than I want to, and I still got it. So there's a lot of leeway at the Sandhop. And I didn't get airtime. Oh, yeah, oh boy, way too far to the left. Just gonna try wheelie strat. Oh, that was a pretty good wall glitch. Cancelled the wheelie really late there and still got the instant wheelie. Let me just try to get this once to show you why the last turn is dumb. So you tend to get a pretty high trick like that. And this alignment is actually quite nice, but your land just lands so late that the last turn gets really stupid. Now you could also go for shroomless, but don't think that's really viable as of now. It would save a bit of time, probably like 150 milliseconds, but yeah, don't really think it's worth it. But it would make the sand hop on lap 2 easier because of the way how you're entering lap 2. Because you're entering it like that from the sand hop, and that's just a much nicer angle because it naturally just gives you a wide turn. Because compared to the normal ending, you'd be end or you would start lap 2 about right here. It just with the correct alignment, it's still not difficult at all. Like right there, I didn't get a slip drift because the first turn itself was bad, but it's not too difficult on lap 2 if someone wants to go for it. It's a bit less consistent than on lap 1, obviously, because you don't have the same setup every time, and I'm not doing the first turn correctly. But as you can see, getting airtime is 100% consistent. Oh, that was really strange. It worked though, and I can't get the wheelie. Not wheeling. Yeah, I'm just doing it wrong right now the first turn. Still getting it though. Can you do it on lap 3? You really shouldn't go for it. You can, but because you have to go really tight on the first turn, like kind of like this, you need to wait quite a while before you can do the hard right drift, which means you enter the sand up quite far to the left and will probably not land that close to the sand. That close to the pyramid, sorry, and that'll lose quite a bit of time. But at world record level, it's actually ideal to use this on lap 2, I think, because if you were to do it on lap 1 and get like a 36.2 like Luke did, the pokey would be in the way after the ultra on lap 1. So ideally, you do it on lap 1 Schumas and lap 2 again, which should save about zero point 0.2. Is it easier in lap 2? No, because compared to right now, like on lap 1, um, I have like this angle which is almost parallel to that thing over there, but on lap 2, I'm almost at like a 45-degree angle, which makes it more difficult because you'll naturally be going tighter at the second turn, at the first turn, sorry. But with a good alignment, you can still get a drift off of this like tiny hill right here. Like you'll know what I'm talking about once you do this a few times. So with the correct alignment, it's not that difficult. On that one, it's pretty easy because you're doing the same thing every time. Starting the drift too early right now. I think I'm gonna do it one more time correctly with the slip drift, and then I'm gonna end the stream. Yeah, this should work. Wasn't a good slip drift. Like right there, I entered it really far to the right, but I hit the pyramid. So that just goes to show you how far you can, like how far right you can go and still get airtime. It's pretty ridiculous, honestly. You can basically get airtime everywhere right here. Like you just need to be confident and go for it, and then you'll get the airtime. I was going too tight on the first turn there. Like the slip drift didn't send me wide. I was going tighter after the slip drift, and that's why it didn't work. And I can't do the slip drift, but this will work. That was okay, I guess. Got a bit too much airtime, and yeah, failed the slip drift. Well, yeah, and well, to me, as I said this before, but it's just a really intuitive strat. I've known for a long time how to get airtime at the Sandhop, and that's why it's just so easy. Because if you know how to get airtime and combine it with a slip drift, then the strat gets really easy. Like people shouldn't really think this as hard. Because how I found that it was faster, I tried the task strat, so this one with the slip drift, and I thought it was really dumb because it's just dumb to get the slip drift after the wheelie, so I just tried doing two drifts, and it was actually a lot faster than expected because I've done a comparison of this before, like a few years ago without the slip drift, and it was quite a lot slower, so I didn't think it would be faster. Well, I don't know. Honestly, I hope he does, and I also hope Luke will start implementing this because once you get used to it, like oh boy, yeah, sometimes that can happen. Don't know why it happened right there. Why I didn't get airtime. But I don't think Imphy will just start TTing DDR again because of this. Because well, this is my opinion. Like MKW players tend to be pretty hesitant about implementing new strats, so maybe if Luke gets world record with this, then he'll start doing it, but I don't think he'll start doing it on his own. Oh, that was actually pretty good alignment for this cut right here. So as you saw right there, you can release the MT right when you land, but alignment is just really inconsistent. You can get shot to the far right. Like, let me just show you. Oh, that one won't work. And I'll probably end stream after I show you this. Like, don't release the MT. Oh boy, hit the pyramid because it got a huge amount of air. Just don't release it instantly unless you land really close to the pyramid and have a bit of experience with this. Because this, oh, this will happen. See, like, you can hit the pokey and you can also get like get shot to the water to the right. Well, I didn't know about that phaser. I started the right drift really late there. I'm gonna do it one more time and then finally gonna end stream because I've actually been streaming for 45 minutes. Didn't think it would take this long. No, that one was decent. Made this second turn kind of difficult though because I was basically parallel to the sand right there on the second turn. Let me just try get a decent second turn combined with it. But yeah, that's basically it. It's not really, it might look intimidating, but it really isn't because getting airtime at the Sandhop is really easy once you know how to do it. And then just combine it with a decent first turn setup, and that's basically the entire strat. And I'll be, oh yeah, as you saw right there, oh my gosh, this is the second time this has ever happened. You can get a huge amount of airtime and get that low trick, but it's really inconsistent. And I'll end the stream with that. So I guess thanks for watching everybody.